so good. Oh, that's actually good practice for the show too.
It is.
And I'm super happy that I'm not missing that I now know about the C7 actually.
Yeah, it sounds actually way better too. I think. It works, but it's just there's some more grit. It's a little dirtier with that. Font 7. So what are we doing here, man? What's going on? We're on your YouTube channel.
We are. You were already here.
I was. I've been here. I've been here in the past. I'm here now in the present, and at some point I'll be here again in the future. So
you will be.
I don't even know. Maybe.
That would be awesome.
Who are you even talking to right now? Like which future Nick post? Who knows? It's a big mystery. I'm infecting another YouTube channel. Oh my god.
Well, that's you mentioned in the clinic you did here at Selkirk that you weren't much into the YouTube thing yourself.
I wasn't. I wasn't. Then I was. Then I wasn't. Now I'm not.
Now you're not.
I use it mainly as just a way to give my music away for free.
Yeah.
I just, what the worst part about the video stuff for me is the editing.
Oh yeah, I totally get that.
My brains. Out.
Yeah.
So, but it's a great.
But aren't you rich enough to just sort of
have
somebody do that for you?
Even if I had enough money for that, that's what a beautiful waste of money, wouldn't that?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was funny when you talked about when you asked for the recording process and how that is, and I was thinking about the stuff that I did and was like, oh yeah, the financial.
That's what it is.
The financial stuff.
It's all money for sure driven. Like, you want good sounding shit, you gotta pay for it. Simple as that.
Yeah, but what I also enjoyed was when you mentioned your recording process is that you sort of book the time.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And then it's like, okay, so when it's done, it's done. So you don't keep...
No, because I'm assuming that I'm going to pretend that was a question or pretend that you wanted me to finish that statement.
Definitely.
I think as a musician or someone who's trying to be a musician, it's a huge part of that is music. A huge part of that is writing music and composing music and playing music and thinking about music and caring about it and wanting to get better. And you're not gonna write your masterpiece in your first second. Hopefully you never write your masterpiece. Hopefully you're just always releasing shit. At some point you just gotta go, it's done.
Yeah.
There's a really crude, I won't say it, but there's a really crude metaphor someone gave me for that. It's really terrible. I'm not going to use it. But basically,
now I'm curious.
Yeah, I'll do. You're not going to get this is it. This is it for me. I got to spend all time. So just get done and move on.
Yeah.
Get done and move on. I've done 5 in 7 years. It's like I want to do 10. I wish I could have done 7 in 7 years. I didn't have the time or the money to do it. You just got to write music, and it's all about growing. It's a very selfish thing too for me. Music's very selfish. I want to write it. I want to grow. I want to listen to it. I want to get rid of it. I want to move on. Next. That's for me. That's the whole process. Yeah.
But and that it's funny because I know Joe Bonamassa does about one album.
Yeah, man.
One album a year, and I'm always wondering like how does he?
I think a lot of it's covers, though, isn't it? He's not writing.
That may be true.
Yeah, he does a lot of but also he has a great. Joe has a great team. Kevin Shirley is like one of his partners. Are you kidding me, Kevin Shirley? Yeah. And also he has a lot of money.
Yeah.
I don't have that
and
much.
A huge guitar collection.
And he's got, what is it called? The Bonham. Got some stupid name for his museum. Yeah, some stupid name. He's got that going for him. I hope people are getting upset at me for that.
Yeah, I probably won't.
Yeah.
But what I am wondering is once you've recorded an album, how do you get into the mindset of the next one? So where do you get your inspiration from? Because those songs you've done, and
right.
How do you keep it fresh?
So that's a great question. You know what, man? I did the first 3 albums with just guitar, bass, and drums. I look back on that and I wish I hadn't, but I also am glad I did because that made it okay for the 4th album to have keyboards on it to make it sound like a completely new album. And then on the 5th one, which I just finished, there's so much keys, there's so much synth, there's so much texture-based stuff that's not guitar that it feels like everything's moving forward. Yeah. The next album, I'm gonna have to completely rethink how I do everything. But I think if you are a traveling, I don't want to say traveling musician because you don't have to travel to do anything. If you're a working musician, you're playing a lot of gigs, and you're never quite satisfied. I'm never satisfied. You'll go days where you think you're the worst player in the world, of course, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, shit, it's all crap. God, it all sucks.
Well, in your case, it's not true. In my case, it is.
Oh, come on. And what happens is if you're that into the music and you want to grow that much, you just do. You just do.
Yeah.
Nothing can stay the same. It can't. It's impossible.
Yeah.
And you're not writing music to get on the radio and to make a hit single. You have no excuse. You owe it to yourself to get better. I think, how do you do it? How do you keep fresh? You just play a lot. And you give a shit a lot about it. And you talk to people and you listen to a lot of music. It's kind of for me, a new album is everything you're hearing on it. It's a culmination of just what I've done, what I've listened to, what my ear is telling me after the next year, the next 2 years.
Yeah.
And your music should I don't know if it should get better, but it should get different.
Yeah.
Your music should get different.
Yeah.
And if you care more about composition, you care more about arrangement, or you value guitar playing more, or you value you want to have everything super swung, and you want everything to have a really dark guitar tone and big drum, and that's how your music's going to sound.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to that stuff, maybe that's what you eat. But I think if you're playing that much and you're around people all the time, I'm around this and musicians and other people that play and artistic people that inspire me all the time. That I have no excuse.
Yeah.
If I'm not doing my job. Like, and also just as a selfish thing, like I want more records. Like I want to have a bigger catalog of stuff. I'm proud of that.
One other thing that you mentioned in the clinic was that you taught yourself. So at some point you were getting into theory by going to the library, and I just wonder how because you're self-taught, how you translate that theoretic component to the guitar.
Right. I think it's pretty much, if you're studying that much, or you are learning at your own pace, or you're taking that information from a book or from your friends or whatever source, and you don't have someone telling you the exact way to present it back, a teacher or a test or a course of some sort.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, then you kind of have to figure out where it fits. You have to kind of figure out how you're going to use it. I didn't have anyone to tell me how you're going to use it, because a lot of if you're reading a theory book, it doesn't tell you it's for guitar. It's just theory. It's just and that's the whole thing. It's the theory of music and how shit works. It wasn't telling you, well, if you go to these chords and play that on the guitar in that shape, you can get that. It was more so, here's this information I have. Let me see what I can do. So something as simple as just taking a G chord, and if I play C sharp against it, it's like, well, that's Livy. So understanding intervals. Yeah. And then if you want that sound, and then you reference that against anything you've ever heard without knowing, like maybe in a movie, or if you ever watch the first Alien movie, there's that whole intro scene with that really creepy orchestra playing on top of it. Yeah. There's a lot of that happening, that tension. Yeah. The upper, that breath.
That's funny, by the way, because you... that I noticed that is that you pick up your information from all kinds of sources.
Yeah.
So it's not just like, oh, this is the guitarist that I'm in, and this is what I'm going to get from it. Yeah. You hear a movie, you hear a chord change, and you're going for it.
Oh, dude, I have many times stopped the movie or pulled the car over or had to leave the dinner table in a restaurant because I heard something and I had to go and just listen to it. What is that? And then you figure it out. The first time I heard this was a big, and this is years into playing guitar, was this. So. It's like you have that scene in a movie where it's like it's showing the actors' faces, and they make this, and the camera turns and starts and slowly pans down. And that chord progression, the drama in that, or hearing a Tim Burton score, you'll have like moving minor thirds, just to create tension, just to feel like you're.
But that's what I totally love about your approach to music, because it's and you mentioned it too, like it's you're looking for the drama in things, and sort of like, I don't know, it's you're really telling a story with everything, with your the song, the chords, the melody.
That's cool to hear, and I totally understand why some people, if they do hear the music I'm writing, they maybe something like, oh, it's boring, or it's like the melodies are too long, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not writing it for you. I'm not going to write music where it's just like, all the time doing that. I want stuff to grow. I want the next chorus to have, or the next verse to now have an extra thing added to it, much like a plot, or much like much like a story where it's building up to something, and then there's this bridge section. I listen when I hear a good pop song. Like, what makes this good? Why? It's because the arrangement, it's telling you a story, and the production, it's building to something that's bringing you back down, and brings you back up again. It's gonna change as I get older and I write different music, but I'm looking for a way to draw a straight line through something. Always something right down the middle.
And when you're in that writing process, is that I remember for me, sometimes I would just start somewhere, and I would, if I didn't know where to go, I wouldn't go to the guitar and just try to play riffs or whatever. I would just play it until where I had it, and then I would just stop, and then would just listen until I heard something.
Absolutely.
But how
I do that all the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, or I won't use the guitar. I use the piano a lot. I find the piano, because the cool thing about that is it strips away all my technique.
Yeah.
No technique. I have no tricks on the piano.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Not yet.
Yeah. I've been playing since I was like, I've been hacking away, I should say, since I was 18.
Yeah.
I write a lot of music on the piano, only because I don't want it to sound like a guitar melody.
Yeah.
I have no interest in all these bands and tricks. I just want it to sound like a singable, simple melody. That song Atomic Mind, like that, I can play with my thumb.
Yeah.
It's simple, but it's the way it grows. It's the timing of the song. It's the space between the notes of the song. It's the pace of it. It's the way the drums start off with more of a groove, and the next time it comes in, it's that backbeat comes in, and there's like a bass guitar, and there's like a sort of. It's how it's building. That's to me it's like a guy starting off, and then the second verse he puts the suit on, or so it's like, oh, now he looks different. And it's like it's the same thing, but there's more to it. That little evolution. That's the whole thing for me. And it's changing in a sense that I'm incorporating different. There's one song on this new album where it's so weird. It's like it's in C minor, and it goes to a C diminished chord, and it goes to C minor, and it goes to C major. It's the weirdest harmony. It's like it's like a mixture of 7 and 9. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1. Oh my goodness! It's crazy. It's weird, but when you hear it with everything, it makes perfect sense. That's just the way it kind of was written.
But isn't that like now I'm just referring in my mind back to something you said about your dad letting you listen to something with the odd time signature.
But the difference is I wrote that without thinking of it like that. I swear. Yeah. That was just a funny little. I put my foot in my mouth there, but.
No. I just when I listen to I sort of store everything that I hear, and
good. That's part of probably what makes you good at this.
Well, I don't really think so. Not all my friends tend to enjoy it.
So yeah, the whole writing. I mean, that's the one part of that to me is like the leveling of the playing field as a songwriter.
Yeah.
In this industry, it's like if you're not writing cool stuff and you're not evolving, like I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care how good of a player you are. I want to hear what's your like, what do you got to say?
Yeah. And another thing that I was thinking about was that having you, like listening to you improvise or play your solos, there is some unconventional stuff going on in there.
Absolutely.
Where it's clear that you worked on your own way of expressing yourself on the guitar. How did you develop that? Like, what is...
I think bad technique is where I got that from. Left-handed, bad picking, finding a way around.
I think a lot of people would find it weird to put you in the category that?
Well, I guess it's all relative to from player to player or whatever. But I think a lot of what I do is wrong. It's born from something wrong. Phrasing, some of the lines, but maybe that's what makes it interesting. Is it's not typical, I guess.
Yeah.
But bad technique mixed with having to do stuff to get around that, or like just getting around that. Like I might play it like.
So you're doing hyper picking there too.
Yeah, everywhere. Yeah, for sure. It's all this kind of helped. That was something at 15 when that started. Kind of helps my.
Because I like, you hear the larger intervals in there, and it just, I don't know, it breaks up the pattern of just playing a scale.
Yeah, it just kind of breaks up do, re, mi, fa. Yeah, so I got into doing stuff where, like, it'd be arpeggio-based stuff. That's like kind of slower, but like stuff like whatever, just some nonsense, but that's like stuff of an E minor.
Hey, I'll play that nonsense all the time.
I'm thinking of that as just like, that's a long.
But do you see that sort of, with my own students, I'm sometimes trying to figure out what they're seeing on the guitar when they're playing. Right. So I always try to see the chords when I'm playing, because I'm playing over chords.
Sure.
But what do you see when you're playing? Do you see sort of the scale, or do you see chord shapes?
Interesting question. Yeah, that was like this. I saw this. I saw. And I saw C Lydian too. I saw major, minor. And I saw natural minor there. And then I might throw in the 6 to make it Dorian all of a sudden. And then I'll go back to.
So you start to see arpeggio shapes.
Modes.
Yeah.
Because if I'm just playing like that, just like nonsense like that, I'm not really focused too much on chords until I add something in there that's outside. Like I might play all that and then at some point throw in the major 7. Like. That kind of stuff I really try to put in as much as I can, but I'm seeing arpeggios and the modes, mainly because my picking is bad. I don't just want to. I can't even. I can barely get through that. I just don't think it sounds as.
Yeah. Well, I kind of. When I was listening to your playing, I was like, what is it that I'm hearing? Because there's. And the funny thing is because you mentioned that you listened to a lot of Yngwie. Yeah. And that was not the one.
No, you're not hearing any of that. No, I can't play like that. I never could play like that. You're hearing, I guess it would be me trying to do what a few players did, but with that world music. Not the world music necessarily those chords, but with the harmony that is just those 7 chords in the key. Like if I'm doing something where I'm playing in G minor and then I go to an A flat and then play a D, like that's bluesy. It's not pop. But if you play it like you're thinking of it as G minor. If you're playing like that was the 3 changes there. With like a bluesy kind of thing, you're slightly behind, you're dragging it, then it sounds like a rock player playing over. Actually, just play that progression like. I'm not trying to play like a Spanish guitar player.
No.
Because I can't, and I don't care. Because it doesn't interest me. So I love the idea of that harmony, especially if you start adding more. Potentially, like if that chord has a 9, and then that next chord has like a 9 and an open. That.
Oh, you mean open? Like that, or just open?
Yeah. All sorts of stuff like that. I kind of get a kick out of that. Or if the G is like, I don't know, play something stupid. But
oh, that's a nice.
Yeah. And I love simple moves, but when there's like some kind of dramatic effect in them.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. It's really, really, it's satisfying for me. I hear it like,
Yeah, awesome.
And then just simple melodies over it, and hopefully it creates whatever this is, some magic. Fairy dust. That's it.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much.
Dude, my pleasure. I'm looking forward to playing tonight too.